Right now, while you're watching this, a meeting is happening in Beijing that could reshape the next 50 years of global power. And your country's economy might be caught in the crossfire. In just 72 hours, China's Foreign Minister Wang traveled 4,000 kilometers to meet Prime Minister Modi in New Delhi. Why the sudden urgency? Because just days earlier, Donald Trump threatened India with massive tariffs. And the timing? It's no coincidence. If you've noticed gas prices, electronics, or even your grocery bill fluctuating wildly lately, this is why. Picture this: two of the world's three superpowers, representing 2.8 billion people, sitting across from each other in a carefully orchestrated diplomatic dance, while the third watches nervously from Washington. But here's what the media isn't telling you about why this meeting happened now. But before we dive in, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. I subscribe. And I'll personally welcome you into the family. With that said, let's get started. Section 1. The Trump tariff threat. Trump didn't just threaten tariffs. He threatened India's entire economic strategy. Meet Rajesh Kumar. He's 42, owns a textile factory in Gujarat, and employs 150 workers. Hard-working people who've been with him for years, some for decades. He is Rajesh's reality. 68% of his exports go to the United States. His factory depends on American buyers. Then Trump announced his proposed 26% reciprocal tariff on Indian goods. Rajesh did the math. If those tariffs hit, he's bankrupt in 6 months. Maybe less. He told his son, a bright kid, top of his class, to stop his engineering degree. "We might not have a business to pass on," he said. Imagine having to tell your child that their future just evaporated because of a policy tweet sent from halfway around the world. And here's the terrifying part. Rajesh isn't alone. According to the Peterson Institute for International Economics 2024 report, a 26% tariff would cut India's GDP growth by 0.8%. That's $32 billion vanishing overnight. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of Bolivia. Gone. Just from one policy decision. 4.5 million Indian jobs depend on US trade. That's not a statistic. That's 4.5 million families wondering if they'll have income next month. And that's exactly why Wang showed up unannounced. Section 2. China's perfect timing. Wang Yi's visit wasn't on any official schedule. It wasn't on Modi's public calendar. So what made it so urgent that China's foreign minister dropped everything to fly to New Delhi? Here's the chess move. China smelled opportunity. While America threatens India with economic pain, China walks in with a very different offer. Replace US trade with Chinese investment. $15 billion in infrastructure deals. Immediate. No tariffs. No threats. The message is crystal clear. Join us, or watch your economy suffer alone. Meet Priya Deshmukh. She's 28, works in tech in Bangalore, India's Silicon Valley. 2 weeks ago, her LinkedIn exploded with messages. Chinese tech companies, recruiting, hard. The salary offers, 40% higher than what she makes working with US clients. Priya faces an impossible irony. Her parents fled Chinese manufacturing competition in the 1990s. They lost everything, rebuilt their lives, and now their daughter is being recruited by the same Chinese companies that destroyed their dreams. "I don't know what to do," she told me. "The money would change my family's life. But it feels like betrayal." And this isn't random. A Harvard Kennedy School report from March 2025 analyzed China's trade replacement strategy. Since 2020, China has successfully replaced US trade partnerships in 17 countries. Their success rate, 94%. Let that sink in, 94%. This is the modern version of the 1971 Nixon shock, when the US suddenly abandoned the gold standard without warning. Countries that didn't adapt quickly. They suffered crushing inflation for a decade. Some never fully recovered. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Section 3. India's impossible choice. Modi is now standing at a crossroads where both paths lead to disaster. Let's break down the dilemma. Path 1. Stay loyal to the United States. Face the tariffs. Watch jobs disappear. Deal with angry voters who don't care about geopolitics. They just want to feed their families. India's economy takes a massive hit right before critical elections. Path 2. Embrace China's offer. Take the $15 billion. Save those 4.5 million jobs. But betray India's democratic allies. Risk national security by empowering your biggest military adversary. Abandon the Quad alliance with the US, Japan, and Australia. Both options are catastrophic. But there's a third path no one's talking about. Ambassador Vikram Singh. I'm keeping his identity protected, but he's a real diplomat with 30 years of experience, sent a WhatsApp message to a colleague that was leaked to the press. It said, "We're being forced to choose between our economy and our security. There is no good answer." He told reporters later, "If we go with China, we betray the Quad alliance. Strategic partnerships we've built for 20 years, gone. If we reject China and accept US tariffs, 4 million jobs disappear." How do I explain that to the workers? This man has negotiated with 40 different countries, conflicts, trade deals, security agreements, and this is the first time in his career he's felt genuinely helpless. The data backs up his anxiety. A Council on Foreign Relations analysis from 2025 shows that 73% of Indian business leaders want to maintain US partnerships. They believe in the alliance. But here's the problem. 68% of those same leaders say they'll take Chinese deals if the tariffs hit. The economy trumps ideology every time. Imagine having to explain to 4 million workers that their jobs vanished not because they failed, not because they weren't productive, but because 2 other countries couldn't get along. That their livelihoods became collateral damage in someone else's power struggle. But India isn't powerless. And that's where this story gets really interesting. Section 4. The global domino effect. This isn't just about India. 47 countries are watching this meeting right now to decide their own future. A pattern is emerging, and it's accelerating. Vietnam has already shifted 30% of its trade from the US to China. That happened in 2024, confirmed by Vietnamese customs data. Brazil signed a $20 billion trade deal with Beijing in February 2025. Agricultural exports, manufacturing, energy. Indonesia just announced their military exercises with the US are under review. Diplomatics speak for "we're reconsidering our alliance." Meet Maria Santos. She's a coffee farmer in Brazil. 3 generations on the same land. Last year, when the US raised agricultural tariffs, Maria lost 40% of her income. Overnight, her buyers disappeared. She couldn't pay her workers, couldn't maintain her equipment. Then China stepped in, bought her entire harvest. No negotiations, no tariff threats, no political conditions, just business. "I don't care about politics," Maria said. "I care about feeding my children." China paid. America didn't. It's that simple. And she's not wrong. From her perspective, ideology is a luxury she can't afford. The World Bank's 2025 projection is chilling. If 15 or more countries follow China's trade model, the US loses $890 billion in annual trade volume by 2030. That's not a hypothetical. That's their current trajectory analysis. And before you think this doesn't affect you personally, sitting in your home, watching this video, your iPhone, 37% of its components come from India. Your generic medications, 40% manufactured in India. Called it support recently. 60% chance you talk to someone in India. If India pivots to China, your costs go up 15 to 30% within 18 months. Your medications, your electronics, your customer service. Everything connected to that supply chain becomes more expensive or less available. This isn't happening to someone else. This is happening to you. So what's India actually going to do? Section 5. Modi's secret strategy. Here's what Modi told Wang in their meeting, and what he didn't say that matters so much more. The public statement was classic diplomatic nothingness. India values all partnerships. That's political speak for "I'm telling you nothing." He also said, border disputes must be resolved first. Translation: we're not friends yet. Not even close. But the private strategy, that's where it gets fascinating. Based on leaked briefings from inside the Ministry of External Affairs, here's what's really happening. Modi is going to play both sides for 18 to 24 months. Extract maximum concessions from each. Use the competition between the US and China to India's advantage. Meanwhile, quietly build alternative partnerships with the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. And here's the genius move nobody noticed while everyone was focused on the Wang Yi meeting. Modi scheduled EU trade talks for next week. Major negotiations. Low media coverage. Yesterday, India announced an $8 billion defense deal with Australia. Equipment, training, long-term strategic cooperation. Do you see what he's doing? He's building a safety net while pretending to seriously consider China's offer. He's making both superpowers compete while creating options that don't depend on either of them. A former CIA analyst, speaking anonymously to Foreign Policy magazine in April 2025, said this: Modi is executing the most sophisticated hedging strategy we've seen since Cold War non-alignment. He's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He might actually pull this off. But there's a scenario where this backfires catastrophically. The risk? If both Trump and China feel betrayed by Modi's strategy, India gets crushed from both sides. The US imposes tariffs anyway. China withdraws investment offers and increases border tensions. India ends up isolated, the worst possible outcome. It's a high-wire act with no safety net, and we're about to find out which way this goes. What happens next? The next 90 days will determine if we're entering a new Cold War or something worse. Let me walk you through 3 possible futures. Scenario 1. The US blinks. Probability: 40%. Trump realizes losing India means losing Asia permanently. He reduces the tariffs to keep India in the US orbit. China loses this round of the great power competition. For your life, prices stabilize. Jobs remain safe. Supply chains continue normally. This is the best case scenario. Scenario 2. India splits the difference. Probability: 35%. India does exactly what Modi seems to be planning. Trades with both superpowers. Allies with neither. Creates a genuine multipolar world where mid-sized powers have real leverage. For your life, uncertainty becomes the new normal for 5+ years. Volatility in prices. Shifting supply chains. Everything costs a little more and takes a little longer. Frustrating, but manageable. Scenario 3. The nightmare. Probability: 25%. India chooses China. Trump follows through on the tariffs anyway out of spite. The US loses Asia permanently. For your life, inflation spikes. Supply chains collapse. Your retirement savings lose 20 to 30% of their value as US companies scramble to replace lost partnerships. This is the scenario that keeps economists awake at night. Dr. Elizabeth Chen from MIT Economics published a paper in 2025 analyzing these exact scenarios. Her warning: we're closer to a global trade war than at any time since 1930. The difference? This time it's 3 superpowers, not 2. The damage could be exponential. The math is terrifying. The Great Depression started with trade wars between 2 major powers. Now imagine 3, each with nuclear weapons, each with massive economies intertwined with the rest of the world. So what can you actually do about this? What you can do? You're not powerless. Here's how to protect yourself no matter which scenario unfolds. First, diversify your investments. Don't keep everything in US-dependent stocks. Consider emerging markets, European indexes, or commodities that hold value regardless of trade tensions. Second, watch these specific indicators. The Indian rupee to US dollar exchange rate. If it drops below 85 rupees per dollar, you're entering the danger zone. That signals India is moving away from the US economically. Track India-China trade volume. If it jumps 20% or more in a single quarter, the pivot is happening in real time. Third, career hedging. If you work in tech, manufacturing, or pharmaceuticals, learn which companies in your industry have significant China exposure. Not to panic, to prepare. Understand your company's supply chain. Know your backup options. Fourth, consumer preparation. Consider buying durable goods now before potential price spikes. Electronics, appliances, items with long supply chains. I'm not saying hoard, I'm saying be strategic. These moves won't stop geopolitics. He can't control what Modi, Trump, or Xi Jinping decide. But you can protect your personal economy. You can prepare your family, and that's not nothing. The question for you. Here's what I need to know from you. If you were Modi, facing this impossible choice, what would you do? Think about it seriously. Your economy is threatened by tariffs. Your people need jobs. But accepting China's help means betraying your allies and empowering your biggest military threat. Team USA. Comment if you'd stick with America despite the tariffs. Take the economic pain to maintain the alliance. Team China. Comment if you'd take the Chinese deal. Save your economy first. Worry about geopolitics later. Team India. Comment if you'd play both sides like Modi seems to be doing. Hedge your bets and build alternative partnerships. And here's the real question that's tearing up foreign policy circles right now. Is Trump's tariff threat the dumbest foreign policy move of the decade, pushing India toward China unnecessarily? Or is it actually a masterstroke that will bring India closer to the US by calling their bluff? I'm genuinely curious what you think. The experts are completely divided. Drop your answer below. And if you want to see the next video where I reveal what actually happened at that Wang meeting, the parts the media won't touch, make sure you're subscribed. Because I've seen leaked documents from that meeting. The real conversation. What Modi said in private. It's already changing everything. And it's not what anyone expected. See you in the next one.